Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Is anybody super irritated? What's up, Internet? What's going on? How you doing, everybody? It's, what is it? Wednesday? What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to everybody out there. I have no idea. What day of the week it is ever. I hardly ever know what's going on. But happy Wednesday. I got a different mug today. Dead Man's Reach Raven's Brew Coffee. Not a sponsor of the show, but hey, I love their coffee. It's good stuff. And I got a mug. So you can't complain, right? Can't complain. Can't complain if the coffee's delicious and you get a free mug, right? Can't complain at all. Let's see. First to the chat today, Rocky's Rocky, 54 Punchy, Robbie Rob. We got Robbie Rob in the house. I like that. Gone Mad, what's up? Matt Sorelli, Mackin, Alyssa Bentley, It's Nature Man, Alvin Alejo, Saul Good, 1212. I like that. That's pretty good. James Leiser is here. Wait, what's going on? Oh, I left the sound on the other computer on. Hold on. Hold, please. Hold whilst I silence the other computer. You, computer, be quiet now. Sorry about that. It started beeping at me. People are messaging me and stuff. They want to know stuff. They want to know things. But not right now. Right now it's for you guys, the YouTubers. Where was I at? Oh, I got to scroll up. I see M. Howie9, Ricky Ranchu, Nathaniel M., Stephen Pope, Bonkers About Alice. It's 11:05 in the UK, but I'm staying up a little to catch the first half. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys in the UK, you have to stay up late. I don't know. Someday I might end up doing an early show. I've been thinking about it. Yeah. Foster's Fish is here. Says it's what I get. Just smashed my finger open with a waffle-faced framing hammer. Boy, I've done that a lot of times. I did that yesterday, actually, with a flat face. Using a finish hammer, but I have a giant finishing hammer that I think is 28 ounce. It's a super weird hammer, but I love it, and I use it all the time. And I was doing a little framing yesterday, and so I feel your pain. I did the same thing yesterday, but I didn't get the waffle hammer to the finger. That always almost always splits open and starts bleeding all over the place, which is, is it fun? I don't know. But sorry to hear that. It's life sometime. But we got Potato Bro in the house. What's up, Potato? I got to call Potato soon. I got to catch up with Potato Bro and see what's going on. Popsicle is here. Nobody lurks on YouTube. Oh, there's plenty of lurkers on YouTube, that's for sure. Richard's here. Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. We're preparing for takeoff. I like that. That's pretty good. Little Largemouth is here. Vexing Cat, David Doe, Derek Runyon, Tom Anding, Andre, Nick's Fishroom, Huge J-Mac. Okay, there's so much. Everybody's saying hi, but it's good to see everybody. Happy Wednesday. We had to start a little bit late here. This computer is, man, I'm telling you, this computer here is just, it's not on its last legs or anything like that. I think it's just literally at the point where it's like, it's, I think I built it like a year and a half ago, something like that. Let me think here. Let me do some maths. Oh man, I think I built this one like 2 years ago. So it's just starting to get to that point. And I was going to add some new RAM to it, but the RAM prices are out of this world outrageous. Because I literally went back to, where's my, hold on, check this out. I have to go to my Amazonians nonsense here, and that's going to take a minute to find. But let me see here. Oh, hold on. Maybe there's a quick way to do it. How do I think if I go, I'm at the completely wrong thing. I need to go to orders, and then I think I have to go to, where's that thing? Let's see, 2016, I think. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, because it's like 2 years ago. And let me see. Yeah, so I bought this graphics card. The graphics card for this computer was $269.99 when I bought it. So it was $270, which is not nothing. And then let's see. I think the RAM must have been before that. So I have to go through. I guess the reason I'm looking this up is I looked this up just a little while ago. Yeah, okay. This is the RAM that I bought was $79 for like basically two, and I bought two of those. And now it's $189 for two. the same RAM. And that's just ridiculous. That honestly is just crazy. So, I guess that's the downside, is that like these prices change, that these crazy prices change with computer parts, and it's like, oh, well, there's only a couple companies that make them. So, I've just been considering right now if I want to think about even building a new computer. I don't think that I really want to build a new computer or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm just kind of considering the options at this point. And I think really, as Foster's Fish says, next time you're headed to the coop, try going to Fry's. I check Fry's. Fry's is one of the places I check their sales all the time, which is how we ended up getting a new phone. By the way, for whatever reason, they had the phone on super sale, and so as Matt Sorelli saying, they go up in price after being discontinued. Yeah, this is not discontinued. This is this RAM it's a DDR4 RAM. So anybody who's not a big computer nerd out there or whatever, DDR4 is still the format. It's 3,000 megahertz, which is pretty. It's not the highest, but it's certainly not the lowest either. It's still a mass-produced RAM, so it's not discontinued. It's not made by some weird company or anything like that. It's made by Corsair, who still makes stuff all the time. It's still for sale like at Fry's, but the price is crazy high. So there's another essentially all the RAM companies are being sued right now. Class action lawsuit against them again for price fixing. So I'm waiting for that to maybe take effect. It's basically like an international class action lawsuit is basically what's going on. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll drop in price. But yes, I definitely do keep an eye on Fry's stuff. I get their email, which, well, you sign up for an email list with those guys and you get 5 of them a day or something like that. But I do check it like once a week to see what's going on. But the RAM companies there's a big giant lawsuit against them right now for price fixing. So hopefully it'll come back down, and maybe I'll just be able to update the RAM in here. But I've noticed that it's actually the CPU is having a big problem with processing video at this point. So I am considering a few things, and I know that a lot of you guys aren't super computer nerds, so I won't go too in depth into it. But I am considering building a Threadripper platform at some point because that's the style of video editing that I do, which might work really well. Either way, sorry to get distracted, but the reason why we were 15 minutes late is the computer was rendering, and it was rendering the video so that you guys would be able to check out what the video today is. Today's video is brought to you by the Patreon. I was going to say, do we have a sponsor? I don't know. We don't have a sponsor, really. Today's video is brought to you by viewers like you. And, you know, all the people that that graciously go onto the Patreon. So I guess for saying that, we might as well go to the video, right? Because I know the Patreonizers like to watch videos. I mean, that's why you guys come onto the YouTubes, right? I should probably start it at the beginning and not start it at the end. But let's give you guys a little introduction as to what's going on here. If y'all have been waiting so patiently for the 120-gallon, the brand new 120-gallon aquariums to be getting set up, you will be happy to see this video, because this video is the Hardscape is going in to the first of the 120s. I'm happy to say some of the new kind of building tactics I've been working with, some of the products that I've been trying to bring into this aquarium have worked out quite well. Not exactly. Well, I guess maybe, yeah, they have definitely worked out pretty well. I guess there's not necessarily some downsides, but there will definitely be some videos of, you know, how to work with them in a little bit of a better manner. I guess maybe just giving you guys some tips and tricks and like how to work with it and how to kind of get around with what's going on and stuff. If people are wondering what, okay, I have no idea. Why did that? Okay, hold on. If you all's wondering what I got here, where I got it from, here's a link to basically what I got. So this is the Sierra stone I got from the Aquarium Co-op. If you've ever been to the Aquarium Co-op, you probably will know. I guess if you take a minute, you take a little time to, where's the, oh, hold on a second. Yeah. Where did this thing go? Oh, here we go. I have to click the button there. If you haven't been over to the Aquarium Co-op, I think one of the cool things about it is that they have what you see is what you get boxes there. And I think that that's pretty helpful, especially if you're somewhere out in like Oklahoma, maybe you're in Arkansas, maybe you're in like Arkansas or something like that, and you're like, man, none of the stores around here carry any of that stuff. If you are in the U.S., you could spend over there via the power of the internet. You could go over there via the power of the internet and check out some of the... So basically what's going into this tank at this point is some spiderwood pieces. I've also got some of the Sierra stone. There's 2 links in the chat there. If you guys want to go check those out, you can definitely go look at those at any time. Right now, Corey has a... He has a plant sale going on this week, and then I don't know. I had an email that I think I opened in on my other computer. Hold on. Nope, that's not it. So he's got more sales going on, and I don't know where as the month goes on. So maybe they have, and I don't want to speak out of turn here, so I'm trying to find that. Oh, here it is. Okay, I have to open this up. Let's see. So this week right now is a plant sale. Next week is going to be branded products. So hats, shirts, mugs, Easy Green, all that kind of stuff will be on sale next week. And then the following week is a filter sale. And then aquarium decorations will be November 27th to November 30th. So I guess there's just like a really short window for what looks like stones and stuff like that. You don't necessarily have to wait for the sale or anything. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but if you want to wait for the sale, you can. I just wanted to mention those. The current code for plants right now, which I will say, I did stop by the co-op warehouse yesterday and looked at some of the plants that they got in there, and they definitely have some nice plants right now. I could say from having been there in person, they do have some good stuff in there. But I just got to hang out with Justin for a minute. The reason I stopped by there, which I don't want to distract you guys from the video, but if you guys notice, there is this little pink fish back here, and I forgot to bring it over here. I'm going to bring it with me. Duty man. So the reason I stopped by the Aquarium Co-op, as you guys know, if you have mail time, like if you got to do fan mail or something like that, and I'm going to pause the video here and go, we'll come back to the video in just a second. You know, this is how I kind of run the show, just all crazy. But you see this little pink fish here? Victor Malini and family. Big thanks to Victor and his family for making this little fish and this amazing blanket here. This like handcrafted baby blanket. This is awesome. I mean, a big shout out to everybody who sent anything, that sends in anything. This really kind of just brought a big smile to my face yesterday. It's so cool that it's something handmade. You know what I mean? And it's super awesome. And a big thank you, and a big thank you to everybody who sent stuff out. I do. And one thing that I wanted to mention, I don't want to get their name wrong, so let me. I know that Morgan sent me an email about the magnets, and yes, I am working on some of the magnet stuff. So if anybody has been waiting ever so patiently for magnet things, yes, don't worry, magnet stuff is coming. I just haven't been able to. I haven't been able to come up with an exact process that I could highlight for you guys that has worked really, really well. Basically, I've broken a few things and been, you know, kind of remiss to be like, well, let me give you the advice to do it this way, and then it break, you know, or something like that. So I am still testing magnet stuff, and for whatever reason, I can't find it right now. So, man, I can't find the email right now. But somebody sent me a drone, and I have that in my shop right now. And at some point in time, I'm gonna mess with it more. One of the problems I'm having right now is that it doesn't have a camera on it, so I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with a drone that that doesn't have a camera on it. Why isn't the video playing now? Did I break it? Did I somehow break the video by, like... Let's not... Play. Yes. Play. Why are you not playing? Oh, now you're playing. It's got a mind of its own, you guys. We can't trust this thing to play again. But a big thank you to Victor and family for sending out that blanket. A big thank you for the drone. I've been kind of messing with it a little bit, but it doesn't have a camera on it, so I'm not really 100% sure what to do right now because I don't have a I mean, I do have like a little action camera or whatever, but it's kind of a disaster and it doesn't have any image stabilization. So I gave it kind of a test to like see what the video would look like, and I mean it's basically like if I just took a camera and shook it a whole bunch. That's kind of what it looks like, you know. So it's you know, I don't know. It's one of those things. AquaPros showed up and said, "Good job, Joel," or "Good work, Joel." Oh yes, that's me. I'm good work. Wait, no, I'm Joel. Right. Yes, that's me. Okay. Oh my God, a pink fish and a blanket from Savannah. Yeah, a pink fish and an awesome blanket, an awesome baby blanket. I would expect something so lovely and so handmade will probably be with our lovely daughter forever. It's probably going to be a thing that ends up like, that's probably going to be something that ends up like in her hope chest someday. And the reality there would be, that's going to be a weird story when she's much older. It's going to be like, oh, my dad used to do this YouTube thing that doesn't exist now in the future. And a fan of his made it and then sent it to him to a fish store. You know, it's going to be a really weird story, which I think is great. I think it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be hilarious, and no one's ever going to know what our daughter's talking about. It's going to be, people are going to be so confused. Vexencast says, I noticed a lot of folks commenting on the last live stream about the painting behind Joel, just an FYI. You can still get the t-shirt with that design on Teespring. Vexencat has one and loves it. Yeah, you can get that. You can get that as a shirt if you like at any point in time. Somebody had commented, they were like, I want a print of that. And I was like, you buy the original. I thought it was pretty funny. You know, I don't know. Somebody told me the other day via the internet, the power of the internet. They were like, you're neither a musician nor a comedian, you jerk. Just talk about fish. Which I thought was kind of funny, realistically. I was like, man, this guy's a comedian. You know, but it you know, I thought it was kind of funny. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Oh, sorry, I had to take my phone out of my pocket. People are messaging that thing too. James Leister, someone in her high school will pull up your early videos. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I bet you. Oh, well, you know, it's also one of those things. Like, I think that, you know, like, I mean, hopefully the internet still exists 20 years from now. I don't know. But the way I see it would be, I think it would be great for my daughter to be able to, you know, see what her dad was like when he was much younger. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. G Bear says, wow, I went to the Aquarium Co-op website and checked out Murphy. He got huge. Yeah, Murphy's pretty big. I will admit, Murphy is a pretty big fish. Savannah says, oh, well, that's a project, isn't it? Normally I'd love to remodel anything. What is that? Gone Mad says he redid a shower last night. What is that going around? Because I know Steve had to redo a shower. So both Eric and Steve are redoing showers right now. That's weird. Popsicle says 122 watching, 25 likes. Smash that thumbs up. Yeah. Oh, I did the. If you guys noticed, last Friday I did the. Hey man, however many likes we get on this stream, we might do an extra stream if you guys want a weekend stream. I think I'm gonna keep doing that. Like if we can get over 500 likes, I'll do a weekend stream. How about that? I don't know if we'll ever get there. G Bear says straight stratum going into this tank. There's actually two types of substrate going into this tank. One is the Fluval stratum, and the other one is Eco Complete. Those would be the two main substrates that are going in here. I was considering doing some laterite and maybe some inert colored not necessarily colored gravel. Is that the right color? Like lighter colored gravel for this aquarium, but ultimately, I'm pretty happy with the aesthetic overall. I do know that both of these substrates do pair well together. I use them pretty commonly together, and they do work pretty well as complementary substrates together. I know that there's a lot of people out there that do definitely want to stay. There's a lot of people out there that want to stay just like oh, there's only one type of substrate in here. People that have been following my channel for a long time know that I almost always mix substrates because, the main aspect of that is that I want the positive attributes of, hold on, let me rephrase that. I want as many positive attributes of a certain type of substrate as I can get. Like I don't want to just be, I don't want to be just going like, oh, I've only got stratum in here, so I have to stick with specific plants and stuff like that. And honestly, between the two, there really isn't a type of plant that you can't have. It would essentially just be the real quick and easy way to explain it. And hopefully, hopefully that explains that. Well, I don't know. But there's a lot of upside with EcoComplete. It is missing a few things that that the Fluval Stratum does bring to the table, and part of that is buffering over time. EcoComplete also doesn't have anything to assist with the cycling of the tank. You can cycle a tank with just Fluval Stratum in it, because it will naturally release a little bit of ammonia and stuff like that from the process of the making of the the making of the substrate. Basically put, the way that it's made and the basically all the ingredients that go into it is that it's going to it is going to release a little bit of ammonia and stuff like that. So it's way easy to what? Like, there's very few things that bother me when you guys are in the chat. But just spamming the same name over and over again, like, come on. And I'll just give you a timeout. That's it. JH is here, and I got totally distracted. But either way, the process of making the Fluval Stratum, well, actually, the ingredients and everything that goes into it, and the final, completed product, it will bring your pH down a little bit. One of the things that it does is it does release a little bit of ammonia for a certain amount of time. I've found it personally that in my water, it does buffer the pH for about a year. A lot of people out there have said, oh, it's only 6 months. Oh, it's only 3 months. I've seen it go as long as a year and a half with my water. But it will do that for a certain amount of time and eventually kind of trickle off, which isn't that big of a deal because that gives me a really long window of time in order to utilize CO2 to bring my pH down just a little bit for, Caridina shrimp, which is ultimately the main inhabitant that will be going into this tank. Well, other than plants. This tank here is probably going to be, exclusively a shrimp tank. I don't think there's going to be too much else going on into it, but you do never really know. At some points in time, there might be some kind of super fancy fish that comes up, but I will be focusing on Caridina shrimp in this tank, so I do want to buffer the pH down just a little bit, and Stratum does a great job of doing that and just kind of holding it where I want it to be. Let's see here. What else was I talking about? Oh, yeah, you can actually just cycle this tank with that a little bit of ammonia, with the ammonia that does get released from the stratum, which I think is really cool because, gone are the days where people would go, buy super cheap. They'd go buy like super cheap goldfish and use them as, and I say air quote, cycling fish, which essentially would more often than not just kill those fish, which, that's old school. And I know that people don't do that very often nowadays because there are a lot of products that do that. I find this to be the easiest product in order to utilize because I'm going to do a Planet Aquarium. If I do use something like Stratum, 88 Amazonia does the same thing. The whisper on the winds, the rumors that I've heard is that Oliver Knott's new substrate, he does a clay-based substrate along with other types. Here his does the same thing, and along many others. But it does give me a good opportunity to seed the bacteria and just allow it to cycle without having to have any fish in there or have any fish in there and really worry about what's going on, because the bacteria are going to live. The bacteria are going to do what the bacteria are going to do, right? And that's going to work out really well, because I'm not going to harm any kind of fish in the process of, just cycling this tank, allowing it to kind of mature a little bit. And, there probably won't be much going into this tank for at least the first month. I always kind of recommend people to not be adding fish or shrimp or anything like that in the first month. Just give it 30 days or 4 weeks, however you want to look at it. And just consider that, you wouldn't move into a house until all of the finish work was done, I mean, you wouldn't move into a house if there was no drywall in, right? You'd want to finish all that stuff before it goes on, and you don't want to move your fish in before everything is ready to go. And especially if you're talking about shrimp, you do want to fully cycle the tank and then allow time for biofilm to kind of build up, things to kind of break in and to stabilize. That's definitely going to be one of the more important things to take into consideration with any new tank, is just let it break in, give it the time, figure out what's going on with it, allow the plants to start growing in and things, and then it's going to be pretty good. Carlo Tropical Fish is asking, what is the stocking going to be? Wait, did I get that wrong? Hold on. Who asked that? Somebody asked, what's the stocking going to be? Yep. Yeah, okay. It was Carlo. Well, the stocking that's going to be in here is going to be Caridina shrimp. That's going to be the main thing that will be going in here. That will free up some space in the 150 if I do want to do fish thing in the 150. We saw Preston just mentioned in the chat. He's got his airline ticket, his car rental, and he'll be up here on the 17th. That is perfect, because there's going to be some surprises that you all going to be digging. I ain't going to worry. I ain't going to. I'm not going to. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but I'm pretty excited about the surprise that's coming. And I do have hopes. I have high hopes that I'll be able to test one of those Felix units. I did talk to the developer of those Felix units. And so one thing that I might want to be doing is being able to update to online, so you guys might be able to check out the insides of the 240 and see what's going on in there. Pretty much at any old time of day. If if just watching YouTube videos isn't good enough for you, you could maybe just go over to the website and be like, "Oh man, I could see in the tank," and see what's going on. Maybe, I don't know. Carlos says, how many shrimp would I start off with on a tank that size? I would almost always recommend that if you're going to start out with any kind of breeding colony, you want to be in the 40 to 50 shrimp range. I know that, when the many times that I've talked to people about, starting their shrimp colony and stuff, their initial response when I say 40 to 50 shrimp, they're like, that's super expensive. And I'm like, yeah, if you're going to be breeding shrimp, you need to start out with a big enough colony to maintain the genetics that you're wanting, right? You can work your way up with lower grade shrimp, right? So maybe you don't start out with $50 a piece shrimp, right? Maybe you start out with $3 a piece shrimp. It's about $150. Not the largest amount of money in the world. I mean, that's how much the RAM was for this computer, right? So it is possible. It is a possible number that somebody could start out with. So it is possible to start out with something like $150, $200. If you guys recall, my crystal shrimp colony started out as a $250 investment, I think. Hey, I don't know what you're doing, but it's ridiculous. Sorry, I had to yell at my dog. Mr. Chips is... I think he needs a bath. He's licking his butt. I'm not sure what's going on. So, yeah, when I started out with my crystal shrimp, yes, I got very high-grade crystal shrimp. It did work in my favor because the guy was getting out of... He was getting out of the hobby, and I was basically like, look, I've got $250. What can you do? And he was like, you could just buy all my high-grade shrimp. I'll just get them all for you. And, I basically started out with about 50 crystal shrimp and then, had thousands and thousands of them. But you do want to have a good enough group to start from. You can't just have 5. It's just not going to work out all that well, realistically. Just in realistic terms. I mean, you can, but... any kind of weird thing that happens and you could just run the whole thing apart. JH Aquatics says he manages Dennerleigh, one of the world's biggest plant farms. Who says that? Okay, well, we have some misinformation here in the chat. JH Aquatics, so G-Bear is asking, does Chris Lukup sell shrimp? Answer to that question, no, he does not sell shrimp. JH Aquatics says Chris Lukup sells plants and shrimp food. Yes, he does sell shrimp food. Yes, he have a part with possibly selling plants from Dennerleigh. He does not manage the plant farm or manage for Dennerleigh. He does. So it's kind of confusing, but he's basically the guy. He's the writer. He's the photographer. And he develops the shrimp food for Dennerleigh. So he does a bunch of things, but he doesn't really sell anything. So first and foremost, he doesn't really sell anything. He helps them develop stuff. He does research for them. He does photography for them. So he does a whole bunch of stuff. He does outreach, like going to conventions so they can go talk to people and stuff. But he works for Dennerleigh. And he helped develop the shrimp foods and all that kind of stuff. But no, he doesn't like personally sell anything. He doesn't run the warehouse. Stefan Hummel runs the warehouse, the greenhouses. He's the guy who runs most of the greenhouses and stuff. But it's also he's not one guy. There's 60 people that work just at the Dennerleigh location in Germany. So and 60 people in the packing and the greenhouse and stuff like that. So there's a whole bunch of people that do that stuff. Chris is definitely one of the outreach people, does the photography and research and that kind of stuff. So I know that it's probably a little bit confusing, but yeah, Stefan Hummel actually runs the greenhouse. So Foster's Fish says, Joel, is that the spray foam holding the hardscape together, the pond kind? Yes. That is actually what I'm utilizing here. I can find a cross brand that is similar. Let me see. You guys will be able to find it online. I mean, you guys will be able to go online and get some of it. Where is the link for it? Hold on. This will take just a second. Oh, here's literally the one that I use. I use the Atlantic Water Gardens one. Obviously, this isn't the best deal on Amazon, but this is the one that I'm actually using in this hardscape. So my apologies for that link, but that one will take you to Amazon, and then you can kind of look through some of the pond spray foams and stuff that you may or may not like. I happen to like the Atlantic one, mainly because it doesn't have any antifungal or anything like that in it. So as long as it stays in the what's the word I'm thinking of here? As long as it's fully cured, it's not going to put anything into the water column. There we go. That's basically what I was looking for. So Potato is saying, so Chris is a figurehead with a camera. He works for Dennerleigh. Okay, so Chris is an expert in shrimp and crayfish. That's his passion. He's also a photographer. He also goes out into the wild and brings shrimp. He's pretty much one of the guys that brought Neocaridinus. So if you guys like cherry shrimp, you should go give Chris a high five. Yeah, he's basically one of those guys that brought them to America and Europe and stuff like that and spread them around so that they'd be able to be in the hobby. So he's not the only guy, right? But he's definitely one of those dudes. So no, I don't think he's a figurehead, but he is an expert. He is a writer for them, and he does a bunch of stuff. But he's not like a sales guy or anything like that. Alyssa says, will plants root into that spray foam? No, but one of the cool things about the spray foam is that it does make a really good surface for gluing mosses and stuff like that onto. So all the little cracks and everything in between the rocks and stuff, I kind of left a little bit of a spray foam gap in there so that I can just glue moss right in there. And that'll be, that'll make that a lot easier of an application. And I'll be showing you some of that stuff. I'll be showing you guys some of that stuff in some more detailed close-up videos and stuff like that. So you'll be able to go like, oh, all right, I can see what's happening here. Ultimate Fish Keeping says, I rock the aquarium hobby. I just try to share my experiences and things that I've learned over the years with you guys, so that hopefully, we're all moving forward, right? That's the plan. We're all going to keep moving forward and doing all that good stuff, and just keep rocking and rolling, right? How are you, brother? Sorry for being late and checking in. Loving the aquascape you're doing. That aquarium is going to look awesome. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. Let's see. James Reet. Do I mix Stratum and Eco-Complete or use the Eco-Complete as a cap? I'm actually using the Eco-Complete as a centerpiece. So whereas you would probably see in a lot of aquascapes these days is like a white path, right? Or something like that through the middle of the aquascape, which does definitely help with depth and stuff like that. But I find things like Stargrass and Glosso, along with other kind of small fine rooting stuff, is just a little better suited in the Eco-Complete to get it started. If you have a tank that's fully matured, it is really easy to plant fine rooted stuff into the stratum and everything, but I find right out the gate it's a little bit difficult to get it going. So I'm basically it's like a big horseshoe of stratum, and then just kind of the center is some Eco-Complete, which I was gifted the Eco-Complete. So I was gifted by a fan who was like, hey, I got these 2 bags of Eco-Complete. I don't know what to do with them. I don't need them. They didn't need them at all. I believe they were doing a saltwater tank setup, so it was like they didn't need them at all. They dropped them off at the Aquarium Co-op for me, so super cool, and 2 thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll be able to be showing you guys the deal with that. Caitlin M says, Lena, I rinse my substrate, but not my rice. I rinse my rice, but not my substrate. I'm the other way around. I don't rinse substrate. I find it to be, I realistically find it to be more of a pain than it's worth, personally. As you guys know, I run big sumps on my aquariums, and it's much easier just to clean and polish the water that way than it is to be rinsing substrate like crazy. Dolly Vigil is asking what kind of rocks. There's the link to them right there. Click you through. It'll take you to some Sierra stone at the Aquarium Co-op. That's literally where I got it from. And you guys can get it from there too, if you like. Or you can get it somewhere else. It's up to you. But there's the link to it, and you guys can go look there. What you see is what you get is one of the big advantages that they have on the Aquarium Co-op. They actually make those boxes up, and you can actually look at what you're going to order. You could be like G49, and they'll go get the G49 box and send it out to you. So that's one of the huge things that they're doing there that I think is awesome for the planet people, because you see that stuff in reef tank work all the time. you know, in like $150, $200, $300 corals and stuff like that. You'll get what you see is what you get. The sad thing is there aren't a lot of people doing what you see is what you get in freshwater stuff yet. But it's still going to be good. Chevy Smith placed foot in mouth. What happened? Well, I don't know. I missed it. Either way. Woodsman Whitesmith says, sorry I'm late, but I'm here now. Let's party. Well, we got to hit 500 likes. And maybe if we hit 500 likes, I'll do a weekend live stream. How about that? If this live stream gets 10,000 views, I'll do a weekend live stream. How about that? Is that the stupidest thing ever? Yeah, I think it is. I like doing it because I think it's funny. It's funny to make fun of PewDiePie and stuff because, you know, 69. He has 69 million subscribers today. Did you guys see that? That's wild, man, and awesome. I think it's great. Jackson Colbjork says, how many pounds of stratum would you put in a 40 breeder? I do have a stratum volume calculator video, whatever you want to call it. So with a 40 breeder, I normally get 2 of the big bags. I got, let's see, how many bags of substrate went into this to 120 here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the 2 Eco-Complete. No, 4 plus the 2 Eco-Complete. So like 6 bags went into this. A 40 breeder, I would get 2 of the big bags of Fluval Stratum, which honestly, the best place to get Fluval Stratum is on let me see here. Do they have the... Oh man, it went up. Oh! You might be able to subscribe and save 40%. 40% off. Where does that go? Huh. Let me see. Text. Ah! Oh, I hit the button. Hit the wrong button. Copy. There we go. You can check this one out right here. There's a link right there. But if you're going to get Fluval Stratum, pretty much the best place to get it is from... Amazon, when you can find deals and stuff like that when it pops on sale. Plus the Prime shipping, man, you can't really compete with the Prime shipping. So for instance, like the fluorite black sand right now is $24 for a 15 pound bag, which is their biggest bag. The Stratum is 42 right now for the big bag, which is 17, right? But it says you could get 40% off coupon right now on Amazon. So, where do I do this? I don't know. I'll have to figure that out when I'm not live and actually accidentally order something. That'd be funny, right? Oh, man, what'd I do? Did I order a bunch of stuff for myself? No. So the reality with why I say to like go to the Amazon, the shipping is super cheap, all that kind of stuff. Now they're charging sales tax everywhere, so whatever, right? JH Aquanics says, fact, PewDiePie's real name is Felix. Yes, his name is Felix, and he's Swedish. Let's see. To me, which is the front of the tank? Left? Yes. Jeff Rose. I'm gonna get the whiteboard. You guys, Jeff Rose has inspired me to get the whiteboard. Okay, this panel back here is solid black. This panel right here is clear. So yes, this region here is the back of the tank, it being black. The overflow is right here. That's the return. Jeff Rose, I love you, man. I love you, brother. Yes, the front of the tank is on the left. That's for sure. I think. Hopefully it shows up that way to you guys, because that's what it looks like to me over here. Two Guys Fish and Fries says, I've been watching your stuff, love it, and what was the story why the real tank talk has died off? The real fish talk? We just kind of, look, a lot of people have asked me what happened to the real fish talk. A lot of people have asked Corey what happened to the real fish talk. It's a real quick thing, so I can explain it real quickly. It's basically like three things went into it. Number one, Corey and I were traveling too much to do the real fish talk, right? So we had to stop doing it for a while because we were traveling too much. Part two is that it is a whole entire day for us to do the real fish talk. Realistically, when we do a 2-hour show, it takes me at least 2 hours to drive up there. So it takes at least 2 hours for me to drive up there, minimum. And then it's a 2-hour show. We have to do all the prep. We have to do all the other stuff. And so it was an entire day, and then we're both getting more and more busy with all the projects that we're doing. So it was an entire day, and then we couldn't book guests very often. So and then the downside, once we had taken a break from it, we were able to go through like the analytics and stuff like that, and it realistically was just, it wasn't a show that was doing better, basically. So we boiled it down. We basically did 50-something episodes together, and we got a ton of, we had a ton of people watching it and stuff like that, but it wasn't growing. It wasn't getting shared out. We weren't getting more viewers or anything like that. As a matter of fact, it was like slowly going down. So it was slowly going downward, and it was just less and less people were watching. So it was like, okay, so we're putting in a ton of work here to bring a show that people are watching less and less. So it was like, okay, well, we got to figure out what we're doing here. So we've just kind of walked away from that project in the meantime, and we do have the studios built, all that kind of stuff. So if somebody comes to town, we'll definitely do the real fish talk. But in the meantime, we're just working on all these other projects we got going on. We want to bring bigger projects to you guys than just us talking in a room, basically. I think when you really get down to it, we want to do bigger projects than just sitting in a room talking. So, of course we want to do that part too, but we want to bring just better stuff to you guys. So we've been all over the place. We went to Germany, went to Hungary, went to Michigan, Minnesota, California, Nevada, Germany twice, New Jersey, some other stuff. I don't know. We've been all over the place. So we're definitely doing that kind of stuff and just trying to bring better stuff to you guys. And because of, people showing up to watch this show and, people supporting the channel, people going to Patreon and supporting the show, we're being able to do more and more of that. So I think that's one of the big things that goes into what's going on, is that we're just going to keep moving along and working on the stuff that's going on. KG Tropicals just popped in and said, if I came into town, would I warrant firing up the Real Fish Talk cameras? Yeah, for sure. 100%, John. That's for sure. And those of you out there that don't know KG Tropicals, definitely stop in there and check out some of his videos. I would wonder if you knew what my channel was and you didn't know KG Tropicals. World famous KG Tropicals. I think you should know who they are. So, it's definitely one of the... Let me think here. Hold on. What happened? I lost my train of thought. Oh, if KG Tropicals came to town, yes, for sure, John. We would definitely do a real fish talk. Probably do a couple episodes with you, I think, depending on how long you're in town. Alyssa says, and meanwhile, Corey has what I would call a super sweet D&D room that is realistically too busy to use. Yeah, well, I mean, all of his fish are in there, so it's his fish room. So he still uses it. They're just not necessarily broadcast from a different room when he does his live show. So Jake was stopping in and asking about, let me see here. Oh, is it a black background? Yes, the background is acrylic. Yep. The background is acrylic. There's some spray foam that is like holding the rocks and stuff together. And then the bottom plate that these rock features and stuff like that are going on are actually black acrylic, just chunks that I have left over from weird projects. Just basically scrap pieces that I have. Alyssa Bentley said, yeah, but the fish won't roll dice. Wink, wink. Yeah, they will. You just roll for them, actually. You just be like, yeah, it's Ladybird's turn. Boom. 20. Natural 20. Chevy Smith waiting for my new sponge filters to arrive in the mail. I got 4. Might need more for the future. For the future. I like it. Yeah. I was making fun of Tozawa Tanks earlier, who posted a very informative sponge filter video, which I did enjoy very much. But I was giving him a hard time that I don't sponge filter. You guys know I don't use sponge filters. You guys know that. I just don't. I don't like the sound of them. I don't like running air pumps, but they are the best thing to do if you do have a bunch of tanks. It is just the most effective way of setting up like a big fish room. Like, let's say you're going to be breeding and doing breeding projects and stuff like that. It is definitely the best way to go about it. The most economical, that's for sure. If you can run one air pump and run a whole bunch of tanks, it's way more effective and economical. But if you're like me, you set up giant sumps and big tanks and just don't worry about any of that stuff. That stuff's just... A bunch of small tanks is just not for me anymore. It's great for a lot of people, but it's just not great for me. Let's see here. Oh, John Gonzalez is not sponge-worthy. I think that's a Seinfeld reference. I think that's a Seinfeld reference, and if it is a Seinfeld reference, that's hilarious. 54 Punchy says, I think Candy is missing because Caleb is getting another round of chemo. Oh, how about the family here at his GoFundMe? That's right. If you guys don't know who Caleb Overhauls is, Caleb Overhauls is our #1 fan. And we do everything we can to help out Caleb, Candy, the Overhauls family as much as we can. As you guys know, the GoFundMe has been rattling along for many years. And, the reason for that, his leukemia has been rattling along for many years. So we're still in the fight. Things are going good, but we still got to do what we can when we can. It's sort of one of those weird struggles. It's just like a never-ending struggle, basically. And if we can do that little bit by little bit just to help out and hopefully come for, a good result, right? Just a little bit by little bit. If we're coming out with a good result, then I feel like that's the whole point of the community. Oh man, I forgot I missed some super chats. Oh man, I suck today. Sorry guys. M Howie 9 with a $5 super chat says, did my first live stream last night. Mad props to you for doing these 3 days a week. Yep. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world. I think it's one of those things that, it's like it just looks like it's super easy. Like I just get on and talk for 2 hours and just talk about stuff that I want to talk about, right? But it's not the most difficult thing in the world, but it's certainly not the easiest thing in the world either. But I will definitely check out that live stream. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to watch the replay. I wonder if I could, how could I be on my own live? I don't know. Never mind. I was going to say, how could I be on my own live stream and then watch the replay? I'm like, I unfortunately have to watch the replay because I have to go back later and fix the video if it's like screwed up or anything like that. Woodsman Whitesmith, brother, I've just visited Darkstar Arts and read the script page. You have all my respect and love. Oh, thank you. I really need to get all 365 days posted up on there. I never did that. I did complete the project. I do have it. I do have them all like written out, as you guys. What the reference there is the script page on Darkstar Arts. I think the first 2 weeks of me getting sober about 5 years ago, I did a thing when I got sober. I wrote and I posted up onto Facebook every single day for a year as I got sober, or I was sober basically. And as I was going through the process, I was posting to Facebook and stuff just to kind of share some of the emotions and feelings and stuff and thoughts and crazy stuff that was going on with my life. And some of it I've gone back and kind of edited and, added stuff to it. And I posted up on Darkstar Arts. And that's just if anybody ever pops in there and they want to read something like that. I just thought it's a useful tool for anybody that wants to just be like, oh, man, his first couple of weeks were crazy too. Okay, maybe somebody, and that was the thing. Like after I put it up there, I've gotten many emails that people have like stumbled across it somehow, one way or another, whether it's Fish Fam or not. And they've sent me emails and been like, man, I didn't realize that this is kind of like the way a lot of people feel. It's like, yeah, you got to get through. You got to get through what you got to get through when you can, and whatever I could do to just kind of help out. So I just figured, forget about it. I'll just leave it hosted up on there anytime, and if it helps just a couple of people, I'm willing to pay the hosting fee every month for that. So seems worthwhile to me. I figure if it saves one person's life, I think it's worth it for me. Like I'll throw $10 a month at it. I'll throw $20 a month at it. That seems super cheap to me. Hold on a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Sorry about that. I had to blow my nose. I had some kind of like whistly booger thing going on over here, and I'm sure it's probably showing. It's probably on the mic. Somebody's gonna be like, "Man, this guy's got whistle nose." Somebody's gonna go back and listen to it and tell me all about it. So yeah, that like I was talking about, yeah, that's why I have that posted up there, and I believe you'd gone over there to wonder if because you were looking at some paintings or something. You're asking about paintings, right? Yeah, you can buy my paintings. Heck, you could buy that painting back there if you want. I'm not saying that they're cheap, and I'm not saying it's for everybody. But you can. You can if you like. But I often do take a deposit if you want something that is custom made for you. And like I said, I ain't cheap, and people seem to get offended by it, but that's just the way it is. I don't sell myself super cheap. As far as just how anything goes, I guess. Don't sell myself short. KG Tropicals with a big question here says, "Okay, Joel, answer me this." Oh, sorry, I gotta answer these super chats. Now my dogs are barking. What are you doing? Oh my God, someone's ringing the doorbell. I'm gonna go find out. Okay. That was just like totally worthwhile. My replacement work shirt. My replacement work shirt showed up. Yeah, I kind of ruined a shirt the other day, so I had to get a new one. The power of Amazon. Ruin a shirt, you just order the replacement, same one, right? So that's good stuff. But let me answer these super chats real quick. I'll get to KG Tropicals in just a second. Daryl Deemer with a $10 super chat. Just throwing it in there. Thanks, man. Vexing Cat, the $10 super chat. Loving the wild abandon of all those sticks and twigs. Just did a tank a bit like that. Oh, nice. I like it. John Gonzalez. Sorry, my brother. I missed your super chat earlier. The $2 super chat. Any substrate with no levels of iron in it. I'm wondering. I need some clarity here. I'm thinking that you might be asking high levels of iron. With zero iron. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever looked up with zero iron. So if that's the case, any inert substrate will have zero iron in it. Glass marbles or river rocks or whatever, that will have zero iron in it. But I'm guessing that you were asking about, high levels of iron. Laterite is going to be the way to go. You definitely want to find something with laterite. Ultimately, the best one I've found for high levels of iron that is usable by plants and stuff like that would be the fluorite red. You don't necessarily find the fluorite red all of the time. It does take a couple minutes to kind of search around for it or whatever, and most stores don't carry it. But as I mentioned earlier, I normally order all the stuff online and just have it delivered here, just like my replacement shirt. Although this is looking like a different plaid, right? I'm thinking this is a different plaid altogether, but I don't hate it. Let me see. Yeah, it smells new. It's all sealed in plastic. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad plaid. I like that plaid. That looks good. It's got some red in it. It's got some gray in it. Got some black in it. That's my style, right? I think it's my style. Looks good. I think it's going to be good. All right, so KG Tropicals was asking, just answer me this. We set up Lisa's tank. It had sand already in it, and we added stratum. Problem is the water is super cloudy. It's been that way for about a week. First and foremost, super cloudy, I would think possibility of a bacterial bloom, dumping stratum directly onto sand. I don't know what kind of sand you got going on there, but it is a possibility that you maybe just kicked up a bunch of the sand. Don't know. But if you are having just kind of that white water, I guess it's kind of like just cloudy white water or whatever. I would first consider and see if you do have a bacterial thing going on. Secondly, I would with a bacterial bloom, basically what you want to do is probably go through small water changes. I would treat them just the same as green water. So that's typically the way that I go about it, whether I have a bacterial thing or green water. You want to do small daily water changes when you can. Obviously, for me, that's kind of easier to do because I can just set up a pump into the sump and then just kick it on for 3 minutes and fill back up. So it actually is pretty easy for me to do those little water changes. I know a lot of people are like, oh, man, I don't have time to set that up and do it all the time. You can definitely look into a UV sterilizer. I don't recommend a UV sterilizer as a long as a long format solution. Sometimes you can utilize it to kind of kick that back and kind of start back where you're going. As I mentioned before, earlier in the show, stratum does have some ammonia and stuff in it like that. So you could definitely have the possibility of an abundance of nutrients and stuff like that. You do need to go through some water changes at the beginning with any of these clay-based substrates, whether it be Amazonia, whether it be Stratum, or any of the other clay-based ones that are out there now. That none of the names just pop into my head, but there are a lot out there now that are all kind of making the same kind of thing. But they will definitely be releasing a lot of extra nutrients into the water. And if you're not utilizing those nutrients, a lot of times that can end up with cloudy water and the fact that there's either bacteria or the beginning of green water. Like the beginning of green water actually is just some white haziness in the tank. And then eventually that white haziness turns green. So, KG says we've been doing daily water changes and we have a UV on it. This is why I'm stumped. So yeah, I would say if you have a UV on it and you're doing water changes, I would say the biggest thing is probably that sand. I guess would probably be my best estimation at this point in time, that maybe somehow that sand is just blowing around somehow. I'm not 100%, but I definitely... First things first, depending on your filtration, I would certainly change the filter pad so that you can kind of get back to a point where you are kind of polishing a little bit. You can add some activated carbon or some Chemipure, like Chemipure Elite. You could probably use that and see if that can help clear up and polish the water column just to get it to a point where you can kind of make a better assessment. It's difficult when the only real symptom is just like the water's cloudy, so it does take a little bit to kind of figure out what exactly is going on, but Chemipure might be a good way to kind of polish the water a little bit and see where that's going. Wesley Shenfield says, I used Fluval Stratum and got crazy hair algae within 3 weeks. I don't dose or do CO2. I've been doing 10-gallon water change every 3 days, but it won't go away. It's been about 2 months. Wesley, it's definitely CO2 deficiency right there. Hair algae is almost always CO2 deficiency, or if you're like me, you broke up some Cladophora algae mossballs and we're using them to... I'm sighing at myself, guys, and that's not you. I'm sighing at myself. I was trying to do a project that I thought was going to be pretty cool, and it turned into nothing but bad news. So I didn't even want to throw it out into the ether there and be like, yeah, somebody else tried this project. It's going to be awesome, because it would be nothing but bad. And even if I put a video up and it got 5,000 views and just one person was like, you know what, I'm going to try that thing, and... I'll be better, and then it wasn't, I would just feel bad about it. So, that's why I didn't post anything about it. But yes, those moss balls, I don't recommend moss balls for anybody to get moss balls, because you could end up where I'm at, where I'm battling hair algae. But typically, the low CO2 is going to be CO2 deficiency or... oh man, I know I'm gonna say it wrong. NPO Quattro. Why does it? Why would you look up? Why would it? I swear, sometimes like the internet is just the most annoying, the most annoying thing in the world. Like I just looked up. I just looked up MPO4 and it gave me a bunch of German results. Why would it do that? Is this really? Is this supposed to be NO? No, that's not right. Why is the internet not helping me right now? You're being very unhelpful. There we go. I guess you need to I guess you need to look up phosphate differently. But PO4 plus nitrogen is probably what's causing the hair algae situation. So I would look in to see exactly what you got going on in after testing those and see what's up. So you would definitely want to test your nitrates, your CO2. I would definitely start dosing CO2 if you can to some way. Hook up CO2 and then see where your nitrates go from there. And then if you are having either potassium, phosphate, or nitrogen deficiencies, right? And that's what you're going to be looking for to see from there if it continues going. But first things first, always provide CO2 for plants if you can. I understand. There's a lot of people out there that are reaching for the stars, and they're really wanting to set up their planted aquariums with no CO2. Is it possible? Yes, of course it's possible. Of course it's possible. But with what I would consider to be a pretty reasonable investment into a hobby that you really like to do, there really are some good regulators out there and stuff like that nowadays. The empty tanks, like CO2 tanks, are so cheap now. I wouldn't consider it that much of a burden to try and get, a CO2 unit with a bubble counter that you can utilize. And it really is going to just make your life a lot easier and more enjoyable, realistically. That's, people get a little bit upset sometimes when I'm like, I'm recommending to use the Fluval LED light. I really like the 3.0. It is just a really nice light. It works great. And people are like, I can't afford it. And I'm like, I understand. I understand that you can't afford it. I get it. I fully understand that. There are other options out there like the LED floodlights. You can get those from China now for like $20 a piece. That's probably more affordable. That's where I started out using too. Well, I mean, let's say I started out using T12 fluorescent bulbs. I've used metal halides. I used to use secondhand metal halides. I've used high pressure sodium bulbs. I've used compact fluorescents. I've used T5s. I've used T8s. I've used LEDs. I've used floodlights. I'm sure there's other bulbs out there that I've used, but those just off the top of my head. And I really can recommend the Fluval 3.0. It really does a bunch of the stuff that you definitely want these lights to do. And, in the conjunction of those two, and if you are using a reasonable substrate, you can definitely find cheaper substrates that do the same thing that Amazonia does, the same stuff that Fluval does. You just probably do a little bit of work, Two Guys, Fish and Fries. Anyone tried the Nicru LED cheap bright LED light? Yeah, they break all the time. So I don't recommend people to get a Nicru light because of that reason. It really sucks when you're like, man, I got the cheap thing for like $50, and it worked for 3 weeks and then it broke. That's kind of the real big issue with me is that I've had so many aquarium things break over the years that, I could build my own LEDs, I could build them and stuff like that, but then there's no warranty on it, and there's just nothing like being stuck in the lurch of like the thing that I'm counting on broke and now I don't have any way of replacing it. That is pretty much the worst. And I just try to steer people in a different direction, like just to save the pain, you know what I mean? It's like if I told people don't drink and drive. Like, you don't need to get a DUI or crash and kill somebody in order to know that it sucks, right? So you take that advice from idiots that have encountered situations like that with the law, right? You know what I mean? If I was like, don't drink and drive, it's a bad idea. You'd be like, okay, I'm not going to do that. But it's also one of those things in this world. It's like, this isn't the only way to grow plants. I'm just trying to give you guys my years of experience to try and just, avoid, some issues that I've encountered myself, What are UPI, DPOM? I have 5 of them, and they've been going strong for over a year. Holly Bennett, I don't know what UPI, DPOM, GTP means. I don't know. Whitesmith, gotta go to mama. Says, come eat dinner or sleep on the couch. Yep, go eat dinner. That's for sure. I would definitely go do that. Dolly Vigil with the $5 super chat says, don't have a CO2 system in my tanks, but I'm getting BBA. Do you recommend Seachem Excel? You can do an Excel treatment, that's for sure. I've definitely done the glutaraldehyde treatment for BBA. BBA is one of the few algae that I would recommend that people can actually just chemically treat and get rid of it, because you do a triple dose. So you figure out, look on the label, find out how much the dose is supposed to be, triple that, and do it every day for about a week. The blackbeard algae, the BBA, will turn red and then turn gray. And that's how you know you've killed it. It will turn into food, and they'll eat it. That will let you know, like, what's up once it's dead. But you got to figure out what's missing once it, to avoid it coming back again, because algae always exists. It just always exists. It's like bacteria. It's just existing everywhere. And you need to watch that out. Wushu Jimmy Brown, what's up, my guy? He says, I love how even after 80 billion years in this universe, he still expects things to work the way they're supposed to. Oh, my optimism inspires you? Yeah. Well, you know how it is. Evan Sherwood said, I had tore apart my moss balls and attached them to rocks, and I didn't have any problems like that. Where did you get the moss balls? I have no idea where I got the moss balls. Could not answer that question, but they're definitely moss balls. My Nikru lights have been fine. The silver ones, not the black ones with the night mode. So I get it. I'm not saying that no one out there has Nikru lights that haven't worked. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they break all the time. And just because someone has a unique experience, and I'll use the same metaphor before, like, if somebody goes to a bar and has a bunch of drinks and drives home and makes it safe, that doesn't mean they did the right thing, or that's like what the outcome is supposed to be, right? So just because someone has had a good experience, if the overall experience is a bad idea, it's like 90% of the time this doesn't work. Like, I'm going to be the 10%. I just don't feel like I'm the person that's like, oh, I'm just going to hope that I'm the 10%. So I would try to be part of the 90%. Brandon Cho says, what's the best light for a budget tank? The best light for a budget tank, 100%, is going to be a T5 fixture. I mean, in my opinion, that's just going to be the best light for a budget tank is T5. So if you think about like a 20 long or something like that, you can get a T5 fixture for you could probably go to Home Depot or whatever, Lowe's, whatever your favorite hardware store is. You can probably find that a fixture for like, I think last time I went and saw one for I went and got one for a 20 long. It was like $20 or something like that. It really wasn't that much. And then I bought a 2-pack of 6500K bulbs, put those in there, and they grow plants like crazy. It just, light is light. I find that the LED is much better for filming and stuff like that. And it saves me money on electricity. And, they also have the Bluetooth feature that you're able to hook up to your phone. You don't have to have a timer on these lights because they have a built-in timer that you can program. So, and one of the big things that I like to be able to deal with on top of all those features is that you can change the spectrum So the spectrum that you want the lights to be in, like maybe you only want the reds operating, you can set it to do that. Gareth Doyle says, how often would you change the T5 bulbs? I've changed my T5 bulbs regardless every 6 months and use them for something else. I wouldn't necessarily throw them away or anything like that, but I would write down on them when I put them in, and I would take them out every 6 months and swap them out. I have, I'm blessed that I live in Washington State where basement tomato grow operation farms have been pretty legal for a little while now. So there actually are aquaponics and hydroponic stores that you can go to. You can go find the knockoff Chinese brand T5s. They work great. They're super cheap. And I would just normally buy the red ones that are 6,500K. So they're just a little bit pink. The tone in them is a little bit weird, but they work great. Planting Freedom says, T5 so much better than LEDs, but got to replace the bulbs every year. I think if you'd said that 4 or 5 years ago, I would have agreed with you, but at this point in time, I really don't think so. Considering how modular the, like the Fluval lights that I use, like I said, I can tone up the reds, I can bring up the blues, I can bring up the white, I can change how I want them to work, and they just work fantastically. I'm really happy with how well. I only need 2 little lights on a 120-gallon aquarium, so they're not even in the way. So I just really consider that kind of stuff when it comes down to it. James Leiser with a $5 super chat says, I believe you like Malaysian trumpet snails in all your planted tanks. How would you like to seed? How many would you seed the 120 with? I wish I had more Malaysian trumpet snails right now. I will probably seed this with 10 or 20, just depending on how expensive they are. If I can find them, if I can get them for free out of my tank, then I'll just throw them in there from the 240. But I love Malaysian trumpet snails because they help stir the substrate. They help to keep the substrate just a little bit broken up. You know what I mean? That's during the daytime they burrow down and go into the substrate. At night they come out, and just the affect of them doing that really, they're going up, they're going down, they're going up, they're going down. They burrow down, then they come back out. Just the effect of them doing that really helps out keep the substrate in a good, keep the substrate just a little bit mixed up, which is good. But with that 120. Generally, 10 or 20 is going to be fine. Not all of Malaysian trumpet snails are asexual, but some of them are. So some of them can breed with themselves. How to identify that? I have no idea. Even all of the papers that I've, believe it or not, I have read papers about Malaysian trumpet snails, and it is the most boring stuff you probably would ever read. But even within those papers, they haven't really been able to identify what it is that would make one asexual or not. And I'm just like, okay. But some of them are. Some of them will just breed by themselves. Some of them are not. Alyssa says, you need some snails? I can give you a handful of snails. I got the MTS, Malaysian trumpet snails, and multiple tank syndrome in spades. I like that. This weekend is the big plant auction, I believe, and I'm going to see if I can try and make it. Although I do have an appointment with the fire department to go get my baby car seat inspected on Saturday, and they only do it once a month on the second Saturday of the month. So I'm going to see if I can try and work out both, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. Shallow waters. I got my snails at the local pond. They're doing great. I like that. Nebraska says, I know the answer, overfeeding, but damn, I recall a tank of mine having more snails than substrate. Yes, that does happen sometimes. That happens to Mr. Joel Gillett all the time. He sends me pictures of all of his crazy snails he's got going on. Brandon Cho with the $1 super chat. Thanks, my brother. Appreciate it. Jackson Borkowski. Walmart LED shop lights work great for a cheap option. Got a 4-foot, 500 or 5,000 lumen one for $20. Ooh, that's a good advice. Maybe try going to Walmart. I never go to Walmart. I hate that company, and I do not give them my money. But that might be something that you're into. That might be something that might work. Maybe Walmart's the only store in your town or something. I don't know. I just refuse to give them money. I 100% refuse to give them money. I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. Even if I accidentally find a thing on Amazon that I really want and it's Walmart, I would almost always buy the thing that's $2 more from someone else. That family is so disgusting. That company is just so terrible. I don't buy anything from them. But hey, I'm not judging if you guys do. Feel free to do what you like. Planting Freedom, did you use black spray foam to adhere the branches to the rocks in that scape? A bunch of them, yeah, actually. I did use some super glue. Actually, I happen to have some Loctite sitting right here. I'm trying out the Loctite versus the DAP because I think the Loctite is more commonly found in the U.S. and stuff. So, I'm just trying that one out and see how well they work side by side, and we'll see how it goes. Brandon Cho, does Ludwigia send out runners? Ludwigia sends out side shoots. They almost always send out side shoots. I wouldn't put it against, but they don't. No, Ludwigia doesn't send out runners. It sends out side shoots. That's just a funny comment. I like that. Mackan says, I've been using Nicru Lite for 2 years now. I made an automatic controller on it. Also aligned the tubes better so risk of breaking goes down. Yeah, like I said, I bet there's a bunch of people that have had good experiences with the Nicru. I don't want to have anything to do with them. The legs break off of them, the stators break, not the stators, what are they called? Oh man, what's that called? Hold on. I'm trying to remember what, oh yeah, cool. Why don't you bring up a shopping, what? Sometimes Wushu Jimmy Brown, you're right. I don't know why I ever think that. What? Oh, here we go. It's not the stator. Sorry, stator is from the fluorescent light. It's normally the driver or the resistor. Normally goes wrong. But I've also seen the light switches break on them. I've seen the covers fall off. They get humidity inside of them, and they're just a mess. The way I look at it is I'd rather spend some money on a Fluval light that has a huge warranty on it, even if I run it over with the car. I wouldn't necessarily test that and find out what's up. And then just find out oh, I ran it over the car, but either way. But yeah, they just had a lot of problems with them. I'm glad if somebody's having a good experience. I like that. I think that's a good thing. If people are having a good experience, it's good. William H.T. William H. says, hey, dude, I'm digging your channel. Any tissue culture plants above beginner planting skills level? Yeah. Yeah, I have tons of those. I have I can't even remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I have lots of expert level plants. Let me grab the book and let me see what I got. Oh, my leg is asleep. Highly recommend you guys get this aquascaping guide. It's dope. It's dope. Dope. I love this book. Where's the plants? Is this the right book? I may have grabbed the wrong book. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Uris is in this book. So is Stefan. So is Volker. Where did this... Oh, maybe this is the wrong book. I might have grabbed... Oh, here it is. Sorry, it's in the back. The other book, it's in the front. So many plants, so little time. So this is one of the cool things. So if people are wondering, like, what are one of the things that Chris Lukup does, like, here you go. It makes books like this that give you full instructions on where the plant came from. Like Alternanthera renekii mini. Here's an example. The plants of the genus Alternanthera are normally used with classic aquaria, like example given, Dutch tanks. The new dwarfed form offers new possibilities for layouts, though. Its rather low height of only 20 centimeters makes it great for the use in the foreground. It is a slow grower, but by frequently cutting it, you can keep it lower than 20 centimeters. Its intense red-brown coloration lends itself to beautiful accents. This small Alternanthera looks great when planted, interspersing a meadow of HC, Hemianthus calarichoides, right? Or when combined with Staragine or Glossostigma. Medium to strong light and a good supply of CO2 guarantee healthy growth. You know what I'm talking about, but this is just like a good example right here. So let me look through this real quick. I got Amania gracilis. I've got Alternanthera renekii mini. Of course, a Blixia japonica. Barterii nana. Didiplis deandra. I've definitely got that. I don't have any Cryptocrine parva anymore, but I definitely have done that. Helanthium telenum, yep. Glossostigma, yep. HC, yep. I'm trying to find one of the expert plants. I'm trying to see what I got from Dennerley. Proserpinaca palustris, which I normally call palustris. Pogostemon stellatus. Of course. Of course, for days. So much. I got some of the Rotella pink, and rotundifolia, Ultracarya graminifolia. You guys know I had a full carpet of that in the 240 at one point in time. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be highlighting a lot more of the plants with videos coming out as I get them planted and stuff like that. And, so either way. Oh, man, we're coming up on the end of the show. Whoops. Okay. We've turned into a cheapest light possible show, and which means we're coming up on the end of the show. The light argument shall go on, right? But yeah, do have to definitely have a bunch of stuff, bunch of plants, bunch of things going on. Jeffro's Fish Keeping, shameless plug. He's going live tomorrow at 8 Central Standard Time, wherever that is, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, wherever that is, CST. I don't know what time that is here because I don't do maths. But, hey, don't forget to head on over to the GoFundMe, which is for Caleb. That's not for me. But don't forget to go over to the Patreon, right? That's for this show, if you guys want to keep this show going and help be able to fund more projects and stuff like that. Don't forget to go over to the Aquarium Coop, right? Because you go over to the Aquarium Coop and you use the Best Friends Plants 20, the BF Plants 20, and you get 20% off until Friday. You better hurry up and do it. You can't combine it with anything else. That somebody was asking that the other day. And let me go full screen here. So we got whoops, scene 3, not scene 1. There we go. Let me see if I can find the scaping guide. I know that they have it. Scaping guide. Oh my gosh, they still have it. They have it in. Can I add it to the cart? Oh man, I can add it to the cart. All right, are you guys ready? Let me get the link for you. I have to put it in here, and then of course I have to go over here, and then I gotta put it in the thing, And then I got to paste it in there, and then I got to hit enter. And then we wait for it. Oh, and there we go. Okay. Copy, paste. Right here. Okay. That link right there is for Sarah Baker, otherwise known as Ricab Harris. Says, could you please show the cover of the book a little slower, please, so I can write down the name? Thank you very much. I'll do you one better. I'll just give you a link so you can just click on the link and go over there and check it out and buy this, because this is apparently in stock right now over at the Aquarium Co-op. Yeah, you could buy this at the Aquarium Co-op. I love this book. There also is another one there, which I would also consider if it's something that you're into. This one is awesome because we actually, when Chris was here, we made him sign all of them. And if you guys don't think that that's funny, it's freaking hilarious because we made him sign all of them, and that's this link right here for another aquascaping book, which just happens to say 2015-2016 on it. Do not worry. The information is all legit in there. Don't worry about that. And those are signed by Chris Lukup. So I would get those before they are gone, because they will be gone, and they won't ever get them again, and we won't ever have Chris sign them. And no one is getting my Shrimp Keeper book. If you want a laugh, Google Volbeat. All right, I'm going to do it. And somebody from that band is a dead ringer for me. Nah, we just have the same haircut. We just have the same haircut. Yeah, we just have the same haircut and beard, I guess. I don't know if he's a dead ringer for me, but I get it. Hey, that's all right. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. All right. Anyhow, everybody have a fantastic night out there. We're going to wrap this thing up and get out of here, because I got to get back to work. You know what I'm saying? I got to work. Is somebody else live streaming? Somebody was saying that there was a... Is there an Aquarium Co-op live stream? Is that what's going on? Somebody's heading over there. I guess maybe there's an Aquarium Co-op live stream. I don't know. Is he going tonight? I don't know. He might be doing some live streaming tonight. M. Howie, thank you very much for your super chat. John Gonzalez, Daryl Dimer, Vexen Cat, Daily Vigil, Brandon Cho, and James Leiser, thank you very much for all your super chats today. I appreciate it. It does not fall on deaf ears. And always remember, thank you to all the Oceaneers over on Patreon for helping make this show possible. And thank you for you guys showing up and hitting the like button and doing all of that kind of stuff, because that's a great contribution too. Remember, if we hit 500 likes and 10,000 views on this stream, we'll do a weekend stream. We'll never hit those numbers. I'm not confident, right? But hey, if we do, all right, it'll be good times. Later.